We're now done with our model. The water is quite black in the back, and we want to take it down, clean it, and put it away. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and unplug the pump. You can pull the pump out, let the water drain out of the tube, and then carefully dump the back of the pump into a bucket. Set the pump out of the way, and if you have a sink on a lab table, you can just move the groundwater model to the edge of the sink and completely unscrew the valve, and it will drain faster. If you don't have a sink, you'll need to drain it into a bucket, so it's best to leave the valve in, place a bucket underneath the valve, and open it. It'll take more than one bucket full to completely empty the tank. So you want to make sure to monitor your bucket so it doesn't overflow and flood your classroom. And then once the tank is completely empty, you can fill it back up with clean water, reinsert the pump, and flush out all the dye from the system. It's also helpful to add a tablespoon of bleach to the back reservoir to also flush through the system, and this will stop bacteria from growing when you put the groundwater model into storage.
It's recording.
After you've lowered the water level about halfway, the flow of water out of the valve will slow down. So if you want to get the water to come out a little bit faster, you can tip the groundwater model, but you want to make sure that you don't tip it much more than a very slight angle, because that can cause gravel and sediment inside the model to shift and change how it operates. Also, as you get down below the halfway mark for the back of the reservoir, you can reach into the tank on the back and open the valve at the bottom of the model so that all of the water in the sediment also drains out. I'll often stick something like a towel or the edge of a textbook underneath the edge. When the water level in the tank gets really low, it's easier to unscrew the valve completely so that the water drains faster. All right, now that we've drained the reservoir, we're going to put the valve back in and refill the reservoir with clean water, reinsert the pump, and flush clean water with a tablespoon of bleach through the entire model. And again, we want to make sure that we're not over tightening the valve when we put it back in, and that it's in the closed position before we start filling the back of the tank. Now we need to flush the entire system with clean water. So we've closed our valve on the outside of the tank. We want to again close the valve at the bottom of the model and fill the reservoir in the back. Once you've filled up the reservoir, you can put the pump in the back. And make sure to prime the pump again. You can plug the pump in, and you want to make sure to get some more water so you can fill the water level back up after the tank is filled. Once you've filled up the tank, you want to make sure to add about 1 tablespoon of bleach into the back water reservoir, and make sure you give the tank enough time to fully flush that bleach through the system and to flush out any dye that's remained in your model. You want to make sure you don't add too much bleach into the system, or that if you do, you make sure to flush it out, because the bleach can break down the acrylic plastic that makes the tank and cause it to crack and become brittle. So you've flushed the entire system with clean water with a little bit of bleach, and now you want to dry out as much of the water from the back of the tank as possible before you put it in the case. The valve from the bottom of the reservoir should just go back into the lake so that you don't lose it. And you can use towels and rags to mop up water from the back of the tank. Try to dry out the tank as much as you can with rags before you put it in the traveling case. Once you put it in the case, make sure that wherever you put it into storage, you take the lid of the case off so that the model can continue to air dry. And this will prevent any molding or buildup of mineral deposits. The model will continue to drain even after you've dried up water in the back, so it's important to come back for the next couple days and mop up any pools of water that accumulate in the back of the tank. If you've drawn on the front of the model with a dry erase marker, make sure that you wipe all of that off. Now you're ready to put the model back into its carrying case and move it to wherever it's going to be stored.